In the year 1223, a young Japanese monk sailed to China looking for enlightenment. He was searching for the great masters, the profound teachings, the secret at the heart of Zen. And what he found instead, the thing that would change the entire course of his life and eventually reshape Japanese culture itself, was an old man on a dock in the heat, doing something almost embarrassingly ordinary. The old man was a monk. He was also a cook, and he had walked a long way in the punishing summer sun to buy mushrooms. The young monk, seeing him sweating and exhausted, asked why a man of his age and rank was doing menial kitchen work instead of sitting in meditation, studying the great texts, doing the real practice. The old cook looked at him and said in effect, "You don't understand the first thing about practice." That young monk was Dogen. He would go on to become one of the most important figures in the history of Zen. And 14 years later, in 1237, he would write a short, strange, radical text, one that has survived for nearly 800 years, arguing something that almost nobody in his world believed, and that almost nobody in ours believes either. He argued that there is one room in a house that matters more than all the others, that the state of that room reveals more honestly than anything else the state of the person living there, that how you behave in this one room determines the quality of everything else you do, and that we have all been giving our attention to entirely the wrong place. Today, we're going to look at what that 800-year-old text actually says, and which room it names. And I'll be honest with you, it is not the room you're expecting. It's not the bedroom, it's not the living room, and it is emphatically not the room you'd guess for a Zen monk. Before we go on, a quiet note. The Japanese home was never really about the method. It's about a home that lets you rest instead of one more thing to keep perfect. I wrote a small book on that idea, Wabi Sabi, Finding Peace in an Imperfect Life. First link below. If it calls to you, for now, let's keep going. Stay with me, because the third thing this text says is the one that stopped me cold. It's a single instruction about a single object, and it quietly indicts almost everything about how we live now. But it only lands once you understand the argument that leads up to it. So, let's start with the room itself. The text is called the Tenzo Kyokun, usually translated as Instructions for the Cook. And the room it's about, the room Dogen says decides everything, is the kitchen. Sit with how strange that is for a moment. This is one of the foundational texts of Japanese Zen Buddhism. It was written by a man whose entire life was devoted to enlightenment, and it is, on its surface, a set of instructions about how to run a kitchen, how to handle the rice, how to store the vegetables, how to wash the pots, how to organize the shelves. In the monastery of Dogen's era, the kitchen was not a prestigious place. The cook, the tenzo, was doing manual labor while other monks were doing what everyone assumed was the important work, sitting in meditation, chanting, studying scripture. The kitchen was where you sent someone to not do the real thing. And Dogen said, "You have it exactly backwards." He argued that the kitchen is not a distraction from the practice. It is the practice. That the tenzo, standing over a pot of rice at 4 a.m, is doing something every bit as profound as the monk sitting in the meditation hall, and possibly something more honest, because in the kitchen, there is nowhere to hide. You cannot fake your way through cooking a meal. The work either gets done with care or it doesn't. The pot is either clean or it isn't. There is no performance of spirituality available to you. There is only what you actually do. This is the reason he says the kitchen decides everything. Not because food is important, though it is, but because the kitchen is where your real character shows up. Think about what the kitchen actually is. In any home, in any century, it is the room where the most physical, most repetitive, most genuinely necessary work of a life gets done. Nobody comes to admire your kitchen at 4 a.m. Nobody is watching you scrub the pot. The kitchen is the least glamorous, least performative room in the house, and that is precisely why Dogen says it's the truest one. Your living room can be staged. It is, in a sense, designed to be seen, arranged for guests, decorated for an audience, tidied when someone's coming. It is the room where you present a version of yourself. The kitchen is where you actually live. It's where the mess is real, where the work is constant, where the food that keeps you alive is made, and where nobody is checking. And so, Dogen argues, the way you treat that room, when nobody is watching, when there's no credit to be had, when it's just you and a dirty pot at the end of a long day, tells the truth about you in a way that no other room in the house can. There's a second reason, and it's more practical. The kitchen sets the tone for the entire house. It's the room that generates the most mess, the fastest day after day. If you let the kitchen go, it doesn't stay contained. The chaos migrates. The counter overflows onto the table, the dishes back up, and then you're eating on the sofa, and then the sofa has plates on it. Almost every home that has quietly slipped into disorder started in the kitchen and spread outward. So the kitchen is both the moral center of the house and the practical one. Lose it, and you lose everything. Hold it, and everything else falls into place. That's the argument. Now let's look at what the text actually tells you to do, because this is where it stops being philosophy and becomes something almost uncomfortably specific. 1. Do not treat any task as beneath you. The first thing that comes screaming off the page of this text is Dogen's contempt for the idea that some work is too lowly to deserve your full attention. The Tenzo is instructed to give complete, careful attention to everything, including the parts that seem utterly trivial: washing the rice, sorting the grains, handling the vegetables. There's a famous line of thinking running all through this text, that the way you handle a single grain of rice is not separate from the way you handle your entire life. Now, put that against how most of us actually live in our kitchens. We rush, we do the dishes resentfully badly, thinking about something else. We consider the washing up a tax we pay for the enjoyable part, an obstacle between us and the sofa. The task itself is something to be survived, not attended to. Dogen's position is that this attitude is not a small thing. It's a rehearsal. The way you do the small, boring, unwitnessed work is the way you will eventually do everything, because you are training yourself every single day in either care or carelessness. A person who does the dishes with resentful sloppiness is practicing being that person, and you do not get to be sloppy for 20 years in the kitchen and then be careful somewhere it counts. The lesson: there is no such thing as a task beneath your attention. There is only the attention you bring, or don't. 2. Handle every object as if it were precious. The second instruction is one that will change how you move through your kitchen tonight. The text is deeply concerned with how the cook handles things. Utensils, ingredients, pots, water. Every object is to be treated with genuine care, not carelessly grabbed and slammed down. There's an insistence that the cook handle even the humblest ingredient with the same reverence he would give to something of great value. Not because a turnip is secretly sacred, but because how you handle things is who you are. Watch yourself in your own kitchen for one day, honestly. Do you set the pan down or drop it? Do you close the cabinet or let it bang? Do you place the knife or toss it in the sink? Most of us handle our possessions with a low-grade violence we never notice, because they're just things, and things don't matter. Dogen's argument is that this carelessness leaks, that a person who treats their objects roughly is cultivating a roughness that does not stay confined to objects, and that a person who handles a chipped bowl with genuine care is practicing a quality of attention that will show up everywhere else in their life, including in how they treat people. The lesson: care is not a feeling you have. It's a way you handle things, and you're either practicing it or eroding it every single day in your kitchen. And this is the whole spirit of it. You need less than you were told. That's wabi-sabi. Enough. And at peace with enough. If that gives you a small kind of relief, my book lives entirely inside it. First link below. Stay with me. There's a little more. 3. The instruction that stopped me cold. Here it is. The third thing. The one I promised you. And it's about a single object. The text instructs that the cook must never treat the water carelessly. That when he uses water to wash the rice, to rinse the vegetables, he must not simply pour it away. He is told to be mindful even of the water he discards, and in some tellings of this tradition, that the water used to rinse rice should be used again for the vegetables rather than thrown out. Read that again, because it's 800 years old, and it is quietly indicting almost everything about how we live now. A man in the 13th century, in a monastery, is being told that even the rinse water is not beneath his attention, that waste is not a neutral act, that the water that has served one purpose still has value, and to simply discard it because you can is a kind of failure, not of economics, but of character. Now think about the average modern kitchen. Think about how much we throw away without a flicker of thought. Food, packaging, Water, energy, half-used things, whole meals. We live inside a culture of such abundance that discarding has become invisible to us. We don't even register it as an action. It's just what happens to things when we're done with them. Dogen is telling you that the discarding is an action, that it reveals something, and that a person who has stopped noticing what they throw away has stopped noticing something important about themselves. This is the seed of what Japanese culture would later call mate-nai, a deep sense of regret at waste, the feeling that letting something's true value go unused is genuinely wrong. And it starts here, in a kitchen, with a monk being told to pay attention to the rinse water. The lesson, what you throw away and how thoughtlessly you throw it, is a measure of your attention, and your attention is your character. 4. Do it now and do it fully. The final major instruction is about time, and it's brutally practical. The Tenzo is told not to leave things for later. Preparations are made in advance. The work of the kitchen is done at the proper moment, not put off, not rushed at the last second, not left half-finished for someone else or for a future version of yourself. The pot gets cleaned, the ingredients get prepared, the place is left in order. And crucially, the work is done fully present, not while daydreaming about being somewhere else. The text is insistent that the cook be entirely in the kitchen while he is in the kitchen, not mentally in the meditation hall wishing he were doing the important work, not mentally at the end of the task wishing he were finished. This is where an 800-year-old text about monastery cooking becomes, uncomfortably, about you. Because the postponed dish in your sink is not really about the dish. It's a small act of abandoning the present moment, a message to yourself that this, right now, is not worth your full attention, and that some better moment is coming when you'll do things properly. But that better moment never comes, because you're training yourself, every day, to defer. The pile of postponed tasks in your kitchen is a physical monument to 1,000 moments you decided not to fully inhabit. Dogen's answer is almost violently simple. Do it now. Do it completely. Be here while you do it. The lesson, the dish left in the sink, is not a small thing. It's a habit of absence, practiced daily. So let's pull the thread that connects everything in this text, because it's the reason it's still being read 8 centuries later. Dogen's central radical claim is this: there is no such thing as unimportant work. There is only work done with attention, and work done without it. The world of his time and ours divides life into the important parts and the parts you get through in order to reach the important parts. The meditation is important. The cooking is a chore. The career is important. The dishes are an interruption. The big moments count. The ordinary ones are just filler between them. Dogen says that this division is a lie, and a costly one, because your life is not actually made of the big moments. It's made almost entirely of the small ones: the washing, the wiping, the sorting, the ordinary and unwitnessed. If you spend those moments absent, resentful, and careless, then you have spent your life absent, resentful, and careless, no matter how well you perform in the moments you've decided are the important ones. And the kitchen is where this gets decided, because the kitchen is where the ordinary lives. It is the most concentrated collection of small, repetitive, unglamorous, unwitnessed tasks in the entire house. It is the room where you practice every single day, either attention or absence. That's why it decides everything. And if something in you loosened while you watched, if you're tired of your home being a project that never ends, that's what the book is for. Wabi Sabi, Finding Peace in an Imperfect Life, a few pages at a time, by a window or beside your bed. First link below, pinned in the comments. Subscribe for more of the Japanese home. And tell me below, what's one thing you could happily own less of? I read every one. Why a text about monastery cooking survived 800 years? There's a question worth pausing on, because the answer is the whole reason this matters to you. Thousands of texts were written in 13th century Japan. Most are gone, or read only by scholars. So why has a short manual about how to run a monastery kitchen, a text about washing rice and storing vegetables, survived for 8 centuries and still get read today? It's not because we needed the cooking advice. It survived because it's the clearest statement anyone has made of an idea we keep losing and having to rediscover: that the quality of your life is determined almost entirely by the quality of your attention in ordinary moments, and that we consistently, catastrophically, look for meaning in the wrong places. Every era finds a new way to make this mistake. Dogen's monks thought the meaning was in the meditation hall, and the kitchen was the boring bit you got through. We think the meaning is in the achievement, the milestone, the vacation, the weekend, the version of our life that starts once we've cleared the current mess. And so we treat the actual substance of our days, the cooking, the washing, the tidying, the small unglamorous work of maintaining a life, as an obstacle standing between us and the good part. But here's the arithmetic that Dogen understood and we refuse to. The good part is a tiny fraction of your existence. The overwhelming majority of your life is made of exactly the moments you're currently trying to get through as fast as possible. If those moments are not your life, then you don't have much of a life at all. And if you can't find any meaning in a wet pot at 9 in the evening, you may not find much anywhere. That's the bomb sitting in the middle of this text, and it's why it refuses to die. Let me put this uncomfortably in Dogen's own terms, because he was not a gentle writer. Imagine that old cook from the dock walked into your kitchen tonight, right now exactly as it is, and simply looked around. He wouldn't say anything. He'd just look. He'd see the dishes, or their absence. He'd see whether the counter was cleared with care or abandoned mid-task. He'd see the pan you meant to wash yesterday. He'd see how the objects sit, placed, or dropped. He'd see whether this is a room that is being tended, or a room that is being survived. And here's what makes it sting. He would not be judging your cleanliness. He would be reading your attention. Whether you are present in your own life, or perpetually somewhere else, waiting for the important part to begin. The state of your kitchen is not a hygiene report. It's a diagnostic, an honest, physical, unflattering record of the care you have been bringing to the ordinary moments of your days. That's what Dogen means when he says this one room decides everything. Not that it causes everything, that it reveals everything. And the beautiful, hopeful part is that it runs in both directions. If carelessness in the kitchen trains carelessness everywhere, then care in the kitchen trains care everywhere. The room that reveals you is also the room that can rebuild you. One attentive, unwitnessed, entirely ordinary act at a time. Now, you're not a 13th century monk, and I'm not going to tell you to reuse your rinse water, but there is something genuinely usable here, and it's available to you the moment you walk into your kitchen. Stop treating the dishes as an obstacle. The washing up is not the tax you pay for dinner. It's a part of your evening. A real part, several minutes of your actual, finite life. You are going to spend that time either resenting it or inhabiting it. Both take exactly the same number of minutes. Only one of them is pleasant. Handle things gently and notice that you're doing it. Place the pan down instead of dropping it. Close the cabinet instead of letting it swing. It sounds absurdly small. Do it for a week and pay attention to what it does to the temperature of your own mind. This is the single easiest way to feel what Dogen is talking about, and you can start with the next object you pick up. Do the small thing now. The cup that takes 15 seconds to rinse, the counter that takes 90 seconds to wipe. Not as a productivity hack, as a refusal to defer your own life. Every small thing done now, fully, is a small vote for being present. Every one postponed is a vote for absence. And notice what you throw away. Just notice, for one day. Not to feel guilty about it, but to see it. To make visible something that has become completely invisible. That noticing is itself the whole practice. Which brings us back to where we started. Dogen never forgot that old cook on the dock, sweating in the sun, walking miles for mushrooms while younger men sat in the cool of the meditation hall and considered themselves serious. He wrote about him decades later. The encounter clearly haunted him, because that old man understood something Dogen, in all his ambition and learning, had completely missed. He understood that there is no separate, elevated place where the real work happens. There is no room in the house, or in the monastery, or in a life where enlightenment is kept while the ordinary stuff goes on somewhere else. There is only this. Whatever is in front of you, right now, however humble. The rice, the pot, the dish in the sink, and the only question that has ever mattered is whether you are actually here for it. The old man wasn't doing kitchen work instead of practice. The kitchen work was the practice. It always had been. That was the entire secret, and it took a lifetime and an 800-year-old text to say it plainly. Your kitchen is not the room where you get things out of the way before your real life resumes. Your kitchen is where you find out who you actually are, quietly, daily, with nobody watching, one dish at a time. So here's my question for you, and I'd genuinely like an honest answer. Go and look at your kitchen right now. Really look at it. What does it say about you today? Tell me in the comments, and be honest, because I don't think a single one of us comes out of this looking as good as we'd like. And if this made you see that room differently, share it with one person who has been telling themselves that the dishes don't matter. They might be one pot away from understanding something rather large. I'll see you in the next one.